30 years removed from the devastating war between the states, my brother was born the third son of George and Louise in the southern Pennsylvania township of Hanover. Papa was the son of German immigrants and was a skilled cigar maker. And except for the 3 boys playing at Mama's side, life was quiet and good for the growing family.
As the decade unfolded, the Russo-Japanese War became the first major modern military event of the 20th century. The win by the Japanese crippled Russia's fleet, as well as its international prestige, emboldening the German Empire even further.
By the time he was 14, I had come along, as well as 3 other sisters. Like our family, Hanover was growing as well, near 7,000 souls. William and Raymond were already young men by that time. They occupied themselves with working for wages and chasing sweethearts, but Ralph was ours, still young enough to play and so very protective of us.
How are dogs and trees alike?
How?
They both lose their bark when they die.
What is brown and sticky? A stick, silly.
Meanwhile, German militarism and the growth of her navy led to the binding of Britain, France, and Russia in what would become known as the Triple Entente.
When he received his draft card, he was still living with the family and working as a day laborer for Mr. Blumenthal. Times were tight, but I didn't mind. I still enjoyed having my big brother around. We weren't shocked with the news, but like most families in our little world on North Street, we thought the trouble and danger was simply too far away to reach us. We sat as we did when we were little. We sat.
I'm scared.
Just think of it as a vacation to France.
France? Do you think you'll get to see Paris?
Most likely. I'll even bring you back a hummingbird hat.
It helped to think of it as a short trip, that my brother would return with his smile and a case full of French treasures, but news from Europe was an ever-reliable slap that shook me to my reality.
Hey! Don't you forget my hummingbird hat.
The promise of unrestricted submarine warfare bends President Wilson, and he dives from his isolated position to one of war and mobility. The U.S. enters the war in Europe. America would send her sons to the cries and carnage that have laid waste to so many and so much. In the early hours of September 26, 1918, largest American offensive of the First Great War commenced. The goal was to cut off the German Second Army, leaving it unable to resupply or be reinforced.
It was in the Great Meuse-Argonne offensive that my brother found himself on the morning of October 8, 1918. As the day unfolded, my brother, along with 16 other men, were deep in the thick of it. Hundreds of yards behind the German lines, they gave chase to 2 German medics, who had spotted the 17 wayward doughboys. As they pushed through the brush, the Americans stumbled upon a group of Prussians with their guns stacked as they ate breakfast. As the unarmed Prussians started to raise their hands in surrender, a hidden German machine gun nest opened fire on my brother and his fellow soldiers. Germans and Americans fell to this barrage. Six Americans lay dead, my brother among them. For all that was lost, it feels as if no one remembers. 26,000 boys in one battle, without a chance to live, laugh, and cry. I used to run with my brother. I used to laugh with my brother. I used to talk with my brother. Now I cry for my brother. In my mind, he lives by the stream, still playing, still laughing.